This video is to help you understand how to fill out a reimbursement request or green sheet. In this video, we will work through filling out a green sheet, giving you helpful tips and important information along the way. We are going to start in the upper left section of the sheet with payee name. The payee is the person who will receive the reimbursement. Please keep in mind that there may only be one payee per family per school year. Below this, fill in the payee's address. Follow with the payee's phone number. Next, besides student name, write the name of the student whose allotment the reimbursement will be paid from, followed by their grade. Please write only one name per green sheet. If your receipt includes items purchased for other students, please fill out separate forms and attach copies of the receipt and note original receipt attached to student's reimbursement form. Now we are going to move down to the table near the center of the paper and begin in the vendor column. The vendor is the person or place you bought the items from. Next, we are going to move over to the column labeled Item Name and Description. This is where you write what exactly it is you are asking reimbursement for. As long as your receipt lists all the items you bought, you may put a general description on one line. If the receipt does not list all items, write each item on a different line. The next column is the RCPT number, which stands for receipt number. If you are asking for reimbursement for items listed on more than one receipt, this is where you specify which receipt the items are on. Next to this column is another column labeled receipt total. Here you write the total on the receipt before sales tax. The last column is labeled ILP subject. All purchases to be reimbursed must be supported by the student's ILP, and this is where you write the code for the subject the items you bought are for. The code for each class can be found on your student's ILP, but if you are having trouble, ask your advisor. Please keep in mind as you fill out your form that none of the following things can be reimbursed: animals, sports equipment, religious materials, items for personal use, clothing, home use furniture, and food. Travel will only be reimbursed for mandatory testing. Computers and musical instruments will also not be reimbursed, but have to be purchased by the school. Sales tax cannot be reimbursed and should not be included in your total. If you have any doubts or questions about your purchases' availability for reimbursement, talk to your advisor. Now we are going to move to the upper right section of the sheet. Here you will find a section of bold text and below that a place for parent signature and date. You must sign and date this for your purchases to be considered for reimbursement. Below the signature line, you will find a place for advisor. Here, you write the name of your child's advisor. Slightly to the right, you will find grades turned in, Y, N. If your child's grades have been turned in, circle Y for yes. If not, circle N for no. You have done all the writing on this sheet that you have to do. You get to leave all these other areas blank: the teacher advisor box, principal supervisor box, and all the gray areas labeled for office use. There is just one last thing to do before you turn in your green sheet for reimbursement. You need to tape all of your original receipts for reimbursement onto a plain piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, which is the standard paper size. Number the receipts so that they align with the receipt numbers you listed on the table on the green sheet, and staple the page to the back of the upper left-hand corner of the green sheet. Please do not tape or highlight over amounts and dates on the receipts. Now you are done and ready to turn everything in. If you get stuck at any point while filling out your reimbursement form, you can refer to its back page, which lists much of the information we have just gone over. To finish up, we have a few final notes for you. The 2012-2013 deadline for reimbursements is Tuesday, April 30th, 2013. This means that you will not receive reimbursement for any sheets turned in after this date. Also, your child's enrollments must be completed, including registration paperwork and ILP, and the last date on the receipt must have passed before you can be reimbursed. After you have turned in your reimbursement request, please allow 3 to 4 weeks for processing, and you will receive a check in the mail directly from the school district. As a final note, always remember to make yourself a copy of your reimbursement requests and receipts. Once you have completed your green sheet, please turn it into the accounting department at MSCS. If you have any more questions, please contact Jim Rank in the reimbursement office.